Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, head of dev over there at Dremio. And what I want to talk about today is sort of my goal is to kind of get into what is MCP and what makes it different. But to kind of set that up, we need to know what an AI agent is. And the idea behind an AI agent is just taking sort of text-based or LLMs to the next level. The idea is you typically would work with an LLM and it would, you give a text question, it gives you a text response. But the idea is how do you take it to the next level so that way it can do multi-step problem. And this is where AI agents come in. So the idea is with AI agents, you can create tools. And tools are essentially functions that the LLM is aware of that it can call. Not just to get more information, but to do anything. Let's say create a new user account for a particular platform, or go send out emails, whatever a programmer can dream of. So traditionally the way you would do this is you would use some sort of agnostic AI framework, something like a LangChain. And which is great. The only problem is when you created like a LangChain piece of software, you would also have to create a custom interface for it. So in a tutorial I did recently, we created a server that had the LangChain logic using Flask. I also have a tutorial on how to do it with Fast API. And then you would have to also separately create sort of a front-end UI. So you could build that, just a basic HTML page like I do in the tutorial. You could create like a React or Svelte application. But the idea is you have to create the server to actually handle all the logic of making the LangChain logic, and then you have to create a way to interface with that LangChain sort of application. So it required you to create custom server logic and custom client logic for each sort of individual application. So this is where MCP comes in. MCP kind of has the same role that the Iceberg or REST catalog specification has for Iceberg. So instead of having to create a separate server and client for every type of Iceberg catalog, you created the Iceberg REST specification, and then the same clients could work with all servers because all servers follow the spec. Okay? And essentially, MCP works the same way. If a server follows the specification for how the API, the REST API that the server delivers, then what happens is that any client application could automatically work with that server, be aware of the tools, and be aware of other things, not just tools, but be aware of resources, which is just arbitrary information it can retrieve, which could provide more context, and also prompts, be able to find like template prompts. And the benefit of this is that now, instead of having to create a separate server and separate client for every particular data source or particular use case, you can create a single server, and then you can just go into your favorite LLM's application. So in this case, let's say like something like Anthropic or Claude